Hey guys, in this
There we go. Hello, everyone! To people just joining, to people who have been waiting, and to everyone watching things back on the VOD, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching this. Welcome back to another stream, and welcome back to Game Dev slash Art Sunday. Now, hold on, I need to pick out music first before I'm just. um. No, that's not it. That'll work. I'll go for Rayman music this time if I don't get absolutely nuked. Anyway, hello again, welcome back. Now, for people who have been here the past 2 weeks, this doesn't really need an introduction, but for people who haven't been here for a while and are wondering, well, why is it Game Dev slash Art Sunday? What's going on? So one of the things that I'm wanting to try and do is to try and get a few enemy character models designed and like proper enemy behaviors programmed in and implemented to try and create a proper functional like prototype slash demo type thing. However, what that basically required was for me to zero in on one of the level themes that I chose ages ago and design enemies based on that, and I chose the medieval slash fantasy stuff, and opted for like an in-level sort of idea of, oh yeah, you need to save like the princess or the kingdom from the evil dragon and then the minions and stuff, and like some ideas were thrown around about like it would be funny if the twist was that, oh yeah, the evil dragon, that's the princess's pet, and this is just a weird situation. So the past two game dev slash art Sundays have been designing some enemies, or at the very least having the sheets for the enemies. There's no like colors or anything for them yet, it's just sketchy bits at the moment. I might, before I actually go ahead and model the enemies, try and sort of choose colors for them. Maybe? Depends on how I feel and depends on like if I can actually get it done properly. But yes, so in terms of the enemies that have been designed so far, we just have like a basic like enemy dragon follower enemy knight type deal. We've got a larger knight with very sticky like legs, short arms, like very short arms, built like a brick shit house at the top, but his arms are pitifully small. We've got like a baby dragon that looks more like a cat at the front, which is kind of funny. We've got a larger dragon, which we looked at this like Welsh dragon plush for inspiration, and I find it funny because look at how sad he is. He's so sad. It's just but we designed a normal version of this dragon, and then we designed a version of this dragon that can't fly because one of its wings is shorter than the other, and that sort of pulls more from the dragon being sad. Yeah, no. That is basically the 5? Yeah, that's 5. That's 5 enemies that we've designed so far. Now, the thing I'm aiming for is like 5 enemy types is kind of plenty to work off already. Ow. But I'd say 2 more, like maybe 2 more at max, before I'd say I have enough to work with and I can actually move on to trying to model these things. Which is going to be interesting, but honestly, it'd be nice to try and work on a thing again, so, I also realize I need to move the head of the dragon down a little bit to sort of align with this one. So, just a moment. There we go, that's better. To be fair, the same needs to be done for this other one. Right. What do you mean there's no object? Oh yeah, I'm on the wrong layer. I'm on the wrong layer, that's why. There we go. Right, so that is sorted. That's all lined up as it should be. Now, here's the thing. So, I haven't thought about any other ideas for, like, an extra enemy type or 2, or an extra enemy type and its variant yet. So we have this basic knight fella. We have this brute knight who is still pretty fucking funny. We have this baby dragon that looks like a cat. We have this larger dragon that's kind of pear-shaped and is drawing inspiration from this, and the sad variant with a smaller wing. So, what other things? Because we don't have like an evil wizard type thing, but I don't want it to just be like a regular sort of wizard that just chucks a fireball or just levitates something and throws it at the player or something along those lines. I want to be a bit more inventive with my wizard. And this may seem like an extreme take, but I think it would be funny if wizard enemies were far off threats that you can't really deal with, and they essentially snipe you. And I think that is an interesting take, and may indirectly being influenced a little bit by D&D's whole thing with Spell Sniper and whatnot. Who knows? Who knows? I can't confirm or deny it, but it's trying to think of how the wizards will look. And I don't know, like, I probably want them the same, like, general dimensions in terms of height as the knight, if that makes sense. So I think I'm going to do this on a separate layer on this one. So I'm going to Why am I'm tilting my tablet at an angle. What do I think this is going to do? This is just gonna... And here's the thing. So, I don't know... I guess it's just some kind of weird pursuit of, like, knowledge or understanding that I've been trying to undertake while I've been at work. Whenever I've been just plopped onto tills and I'm bored and there's no customers at any given moment, I just feed out a little bit of empty till roll, like an empty receipt, and I take it out of the till roll, I grab a pen, and I just start doing little doodles and stuff. Like, it's not the first time I've done it. I did it, I think it was not last year, it was 2 years ago. I did it 2 years ago during the first few months that I was working. Yo, been making my game all day. The guild I was watching... Oh, the guide I was watching pulled up another guide in the... Oh. So did you dive into the other guide that guide mentioned, and are you having to follow another guide now? And then you're eventually having to return to... Oh. Well... But yeah, no, I can't explain... Oh, I don't know how to explain why my one little pursuit of understanding or knowledge while I've been at work last week and this week has been attempting to try and understand how to do two-point perspective, which I suppose it's not a bad thing to try and understand two-point perspective in art, but there's trying to understand two-point perspective, and then there's trying to understand how to apply two-point perspective to something like a sphere, which apparently is not an easy thing to do. Like, I suppose it's easy to apply, you know, one-point perspective to a sphere, because you could do one-point perspective... You could do one-point perspective on a cube, draw a, like, circle inside of that cube, and then, using some more guidelines, align the curvature of the sphere to, you know, where certain lines or edges meet on that cube, and adjust it that way. I know that it's possible to do it that way, single point perspective, with a sphere in, like, in a cube, basically. But the thing is, I am just mildly stumped on two-point perspective on the spheres. I don't know why I'm busting my brain about it so much. But yeah, no, that's what I've been doing at work whenever I've been bored. That's my little pursuit of knowledge that I've been undertaking. And I've been getting myself carried away talking about that while I'm trying to sort of mark out the dimensions that I use for this night, so I can use it for the wizard as well, because I want it to follow something similar. So I'm going to paste this in here. And I'm going to throw this on... I'm going to throw it on this side, and then I'm going to get rid of it from this one, because I don't need it here anymore. This only existed so I could mark out the dimensions properly. And then I'm going to preemptively save this file. So I'm going to say... This will be Dragon Follower Wizard. Wizard Sniper. Dragon Follower Wizard Sniper. This is the direction that I'm taking my wizards in. They're going to be snipers, and that's going to be a fun fucking interpretation of them. I don't know why I started talking like that. Don't ask. Also, I don't know how to explain this to people. Though maybe it's actually easier than I'm actually perceiving it to be. But I've had this odd sort of fascination with just playing either the original Rayman on PlayStation 1 via an emulator, because I don't have a physical PS1 at the moment. I want to get one eventually. I want to get one and start collecting PS1 games, because I think it would be cool. But then also playing through Rayman 2 as well, and then eventually Rayman 3. I might have already mentioned this before. I can't remember. It's been a week, so I can't remember if I mentioned it last week. But but yeah, no, weird sort of like mild fixation on the Rayman games at the moment, and it's like it's nice revisiting stuff from when I was younger, because way back when I was younger, my eldest brother had, it was either a PS1 or a PS2. I'm pretty sure he had both at one point, but it was definitely on the PS1 that I played the original Rayman, and I used to enjoy playing it, even though every now and then I'm pretty sure I had a copy of the game where I was able to use the code to unlock all the levels and like go like to the last level, I think. I can't remember. My memory of that kind of stuff from when I was younger is hazy, but I used to enjoy playing the original Rayman. When I was growing up, we had a disc of the PC version of Rayman 2, and I played that so much. I don't know why I played it so many times over and over again, just full completions of the game. You know, aside from getting all the lums and collectibles and stuff, because I was never that obsessive with getting stuff. Hold on, chat. And then there's also Rayman 3, which it's been 11 years since I played Rayman 3 for the first time, because for the longest time... Wait, am I on the... I'm on the same layer, aren't I? Ah! Right. Sorry, chat, and people watching things back. Sorry for possibly destroying your eardrums. But for the longest time, up until 2015, I wasn't aware of Rayman 3. I was only ever aware of Rayman 1, Rayman 2, and then the jump to, like, Rayman Raving Rabbids, and then all the Raving Rabbids games, and then Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. And I was never aware of Rayman 3 until literally 2015, when I played it for the first time. And I had a good time with it, though there were definitely some, like, bits that I can kind of see and think, yeah, this is kind of an odd direction for things at times. But, you know, I did enjoy Rayman 3. I haven't properly played through all of it for years, but probably when I've played through all of Rayman 2 again, because I'm currently doing that slowly when I have time, in my own time, then I'm just gonna, you know, play Rayman 3 slowly in my own time when I have my own time. Also, we're getting into Rayman 2 music now, and that's fucking great. I love Rayman 2. I've already said this. Now, I'm trying to think. Do I want to show the old man wizard's face, or do I want to obscure... I think I want to keep it, like, obscured. And I don't want, like, oh, it's like, you know, a normal wizard's hat. You know, they're good. I want it to be crooked, and, like, as crooked as, you know, low poly will allow. And now I'm looking at this and I don't think I want the hat to be that large because that looks kind of ridiculous. Right. So I can kind of get rid of this. Oh wait, why did I click that? I meant to click the rubber. And I don't know why I'm doing details when I mean, to be fair, I guess it's kind of good practice to indicate where some of the details will be on the texturing and stuff when I get around to it when I make the models. But, yeah, no. It is funny to look at Rayman 1 and Rayman 2 in, like, the lenses of, like, oh yeah, this game, Rayman 2, is definitely easier than compared to Rayman 1. There is a funny reason why Rayman 1 is, like, while being very well acclaimed, is also bullshit difficult. Hmm. I also think that at the very least, although this has mainly just been a matter of let's get designs made up for doing stuff in Blender and whatnot, it's been nice to at the very least get back into the sort of notion of having a time or a day once a week at the very least where I just do arty fart stuff, because I used to do that a few years ago, back in 2024. um, I haven't properly sort of managed to do that since then, and I do kind of miss, doing that, like having just a day blocked out where I'd be like, oh yeah, let's practice art, let's get on with doing things, and, training my ability to sort of understand shape and structure and sort of being able to quickly sort of provide a basic block up of what I'm drawing and then flesh out the details and stuff very quickly, you know? Um, Hold on, chat. Now, I don't know if I want the wizard to have, like, a pitifully small wand that they hold, it's just like, oh, like this. Or if I want them to just have a ridiculous sort of huge quarterstaff that they sort of lug around on their back, and then when they're in position they can see the player, they sort of get it off of their shoulder and just hold it with both their hands ready to snipe their spell. I think that would be sick. Obviously that would take a bit to animate, but I reckon it can be done. It would be very sick. Um I like having ideas. I like having ideas. I like having ideas for a change, because sometimes it's like, I have some ideas, but then other ideas come from just bouncing ideas off of other people. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I do like being able to come up with my own ideas too. Anyway, going to have ridiculously big wizard staff. Right. I love my idea. I love that I can come up with an idea for once. Also, I can't believe I was, like, going on about how difficult Rayman, like, original Rayman was. Shadow Wizard, but we are designing a wizard. Hello. We love casting spells. Oh, I remember a few good, like, it was back in 2023. I just had that as my status on Discord for like a good few months. But yeah, no. I find it funny. I'm going to actually just, I had the idea of just making like a wizard enemy a sniper. Oh,
Ryan, you're up.
Thank you very much for the Prime sub. Thank you, Nick. That's also 5 months. That's crazy. Thank you very much for that. Like, honestly, thank you very much. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Uh, okay, that was a thing on OBS. 1 out of 10 for a sub goal. Because I think it just refreshes like back to just like get to 10, and that was the delayed notification sound on my end. Weird. What am I doing? What am I doing? Have I been watching the new season for Fallout? I haven't watched much of Fallout. I probably need to. But I know that I know, like... what is she been telling you? I'm scared. What has she been telling you? About me? Anyway, the canvas size. That was the thing I was doing. I want to tell you, but it's not PG. We aren't PG. Oh no, Nick. No. No. Right, anyway, so... No! Oh lord, oh heavens. Anyway, so I think I think that should be enough room to allow for the thingamajiggy. And then I still have this. Right. I do want to keep my dimensions consistent. Auto brewery syndrome. I still find it crazy that that's a thing that exists, and that's a thing that people can possibly have. But also kind of sucks because trying to have most normal things just doesn't work out well. Right, at the very least... Whoops. If you want a good night out, you just buy a bag of chips. My brain. Copy, paste. Move this. To be fair, I may as well have just done the... never mind. Because at the very least, getting this over here means that I just have, like, the head to use as a reference point for how tall things should be. I'm using the tools that work. Hold on a moment. Right. And now it's time to do the side view. Which means I get rid of this bit here. And now I have to think about how, like, ideally, how big... Like, how far forward the beard protrudes, like, viewing it from the side. And it has to be in a way that makes sense as well. Even though I can only ever make so much sense of things. If that makes sense. And then we've got... There. That's where the tip of the hat ends. Just make sure, yeah, and perfect. But yeah, no, multiple times, my brain just completely farted out, and I completely forgot to talk about the thing that I mentioned about Rayman, the original Rayman, and why it was so bullshit difficult. It's because at the time, Ubisoft just did not playtest the game as well. Like, they didn't even playtest the game at all. None of the developers working at Ubisoft at the time knew how bullshit the level design was. So that's the reason why there's such a difficulty spike in the original Rayman. Though, to be fair, looking at it, it's like, Ubisoft, even back in the 90s, it were kind of complete cunts. Trying to remember where this. Oh. Right. Let me think. Trying to do, like, have it flow out in a way that doesn't look silly, but also, like, trying to make it so that there's... I don't know how to explain it. It's... I feel like it's just the general problem I face whenever I draw, like, a character from a side view. I just don't know how to properly do the thing. And I don't even think that's, like, big enough for a foot. At the very least, the back of the foot looks too... There's not enough of a curve. I do like designing these little enemies, though. All in all, I've been having fun with it all. It's been a good time. It's been a good time designing enemies and actually doing it properly rather than just rushing it like I did ages ago. Because if I had to look back at my original attempts for designing enemies, it kind of sucked. Oh yeah, no, I was gonna highlight like the originals. Hold on, let me try and find some of the one or two of the ones that I did ages ago. where I had, if I go into this one, which was the medieval snake, like, I had ideas for this, but I was just like taking, oh yeah, let's take the natural predators for a rat, and let's just keep reskinning them as like different enemies or different creatures and stuff. It's just like, I guess it can work in some ways, but at the same time, it's just I looked back at it before recently and then realized, well, this is just going to create a ukulele situation where I just have enemies that are just reskins and reuse animations and stuff, and I don't want to do that. Anyway, there was that one, and then if I go back, went from medieval snake to mythological snake, which, again, had some variances, but at the same time was still not really that different from the medieval snake. So it really wasn't that, like, they weren't really. Oh, whoops. I was on, bloody goddammit, on the home of, like, the portal for Clip Studio. I accidentally navigated onto a completely different, like, area, and I'm just, So, and then there was also, like, the futuristic weasel that I made, which I guess was okay, but it still looked like I wasn't really putting much effort into it, so it wasn't a proper sort of reference sheet. It didn't give a front view and a side view. It didn't really give anything to work with. And I guess one of the things that came close to it was the cat grunt, which I can still reuse this design. I can reuse this design because they would be minions of the main, like, bad guy, this big cat pirate dude. So I could still reuse these later down the line, but just for, like, general level enemies, though, no. And then my original, like, wizard was going to be this owl. Because owls are just, owls are considered one of the natural predators for rats, and to be fair, I thought, a wizard would be a very good role for an owl, but but now that we're doing this type of stuff, where I'm not restricting myself to the natural predators of an animal, and instead I'm just going, going wherever I want with it, it's turning out a fair bit better. So we have one wizard, like, and it's just, basic wizard sniper. He has a big staff that he carries on his back. When he gets into position, unloads it from his shoulder, and just pew. And if I had to visualize how the arm would look from the side, because I think that'd actually be helpful, it would be this. And now I realize it, I may have to go back to the knights and also do their hands from the side. just to make sense, or make it make sense. And also to make it easier when I'm actually modeling them, because I can actually get like a side view of how the hands are supposed to look in terms of their width. But yeah, no, I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. So... Oh, whoops. Ow. Hmm. I'm not sure about... I'm not sure about the soundtrack for Rayman 3 compared to... Hold on a moment. Um... And I guess this is kind of just relaxing Rayman's songs. So, what was the one I was listening? I just want... I just want the general soundtracks for, like, compiled into a 2-hour-long video rather than just only the relaxing songs. I know the relaxing songs are nice, but at the same time, I want a bit more than that. But then there's just, you know, the full Rayman soundtrack for like an hour. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. We're just gonna go for the whole caboodle for the original Rayman. Okay? That'll work. Anyway, so looking at this, I think I have something decently solid now with this. The next part is trying to decide upon a variant, because, you know, we've been doing that for the, like, the Dragon Follower, and I don't know if I want to have a wizard that makes enemies larger or makes enemies more powerful or anything like that. Also, I know that we're going to have a break soon, but I'm going to quickly pop to the bathroom. I will be back in a few short moments. So hang on tight. I'll be back very shortly. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. And yes, the ad breaks are starting in a few minutes. Uh, Lord. Anyway, new canvas time. So, I don't know what type of variant to make this. Like, I don't know if I want to make this, like, a wizard that can create a barrier. And then he dual wields, like, smaller ones? Or... or he does something else? I don't know. Right, once again, I'll use the guideline. I knew what it was going to be, because I heard the mosquito and I thought, yeah, no, it's going to be the fucking battle against mosquito. Right. Now, do I want them to be... Ooh, or it could just be a wizard that's kind of like a close range fighter. That would be cool. I want that. I want that. They just sort of run towards the player and try and make like little explosions in front of them. Yeah, that would be cool. But how would this look? How would this wizard look? How would this wizard look? Hmm. Anyway, ads are starting. We will be back in a few short minutes, so hang on tight and we'll be returning very shortly. Alright, and... one moment. And we're back! Okay. Anyway, Now I'm trying to think, because I do want this to still be, like, Old Man Wizard, but I don't want it to have, like, the same beard, like, exactly the same beard. I want it to be, like, a variant where it's, like, you know, this wizard has, like, a split beard, where it's just, you know, a beard. I really decided for, like, the last 2 or so, like, basic enemies that I was creating for this stuff, or for, you know, before we start making models, that I really just decided, yeah, let's make the Shadow Wizard Money Gang. Let's lean into it. Gosh. There we go. There we go. Perfect. And I don't know, like, maybe I do, like, where it's... I will say, though, the one thing I'd have to double check before I eventually... Oh gosh, sorry. The one thing I have to double check before I eventually make the models is I'm actually going to have to find... one, the tutorial that I used when I was initially making my Ratplat model, and 2, I'm going to have to find the other tutorial that I used when I was trying to relearn how to rig my model. Because the first one that I used wasn't very helpful, and I had to just go over it all again. To be fair, I could probably find the stream where I redid it all, because I think I redid it all on stream. I can't remember. Good lord. Jesus, sorry about that. Right. I also need to double check. I made the arms very long. Or maybe instead of... Oh, actually, maybe it's just instead of just having like dual wielding wands, whenever he runs at the player and slams his hand down, it's just like firing a little mini fireball. Or it's just a ground pound, who knows? Or a magical ground slam, who knows? But I won't have this wizard be completely, like, slender or slim. They are going to be a bit chunky. Again, jeez, good lord. And these boots kind of look a bit heavier. Okay, this... Oh, I didn't save this file. So, Dragon Follower Close Range Wizard. That's what this one's going to be, I guess, classified as, considered. Wait, actually, did I accidentally... Oh, for crying out loud. Ah! Oh well. Too late. I'm not undoing absolutely everything I've done just because I drew this on the same layer as the guidelines, but I'm mildly upset. To be fair, I should be able to paste. Yeah, no, I can paste. Hmm. Anyway, I got that copied over. I was also waiting for this song because I like this song from the original Rayman. I almost dragged it over without copying and pasting it. That wouldn't have been good. Right. Right. Brought over. Once again. Then we get rid of that. I'm liking how this is turning out though. So I need to. Ah, no! I thought I. Never mind. And just to make it accurate, answer. Anyway, what's your question? What is your question? I played some Gex. Ooh. I need to. I need to get back to suffering with original Rayman though. What? Once I finish playing Rayman, finish playing through Rayman 2. I'm naming a cafe for Animal Crossing New Horizons. Bright Cafe or Brighty Cafe, or should I just name it Brighty? I think Brighty Cafe works very well. And that works. That's probably better in terms of it being actually accurate to it being a side view. Gosh. Ah. Let's see. I think. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Right, and then much like the other one, like I guess it's not too wide, so yeah, I eyeballed that pretty well, kind of for the most part, but Gosh. There. There we go. Do, 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 do. I think that's about right. Do, 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 do. Right, I think like this is turning out pretty well. I like it. I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. Wait a minute. Oh, never mind. I'm... And there's the matter of, like... I actually, like, did pretty well with giving him, like, a bit of a gut, like a bit of a belly. A mild, yeah, mild layer scare. I thought things were on the wrong layer again. It happens way too many times, and it does stress me out a little bit. Man belly. It's when you start the shading and realize you're going to start again because you've been doing the shading on the wrong layer and you're thinking, why is it being weird and then like interacting with, you know, my base colors weirdly? And then I realize, oh, that's why. Hmm. Now the question is, like, I think him just, oh, okay, accidentally pulled a thing like from the side on, like, on Windows itself. Obviously that didn't show up on stream, but that was like, eh. That kind of disoriented me a little bit. I think like dual wielding, like having like dual wielding wands is cool. Because that just seems like a cool idea in my opinion. But that's merely a design thing and may not necessarily play into how this enemy behaves or how it's animated, but I think it's just cool. And then probably thicken the line there. I know it's merely just like, you know, front and side view that's just going to be popped into Blender, but, you know, these things still matter. And now I need to look back at the other wizard that I did and think, to be fair, it's not too bad in terms of like adjusting the details of the hat so it's a bit more accurate for it being a side view, because it is just round compared to this one where it's like it, you know, pokes up at the edge and then goes down in the middle and then pokes up at the other edge and stuff like that, where I've had to adjust it from the sides. But I do like my distinction of having Haggard Wizard that's just, you know, a wizard sniper, and then having a still fairly old wizard that has a bit of a belly, but it acts as like a close mage battle wizard. A close mage, close range battle wizard. Oh gosh. Let me think. There's fine details that I want to fine up. So, actually, I may want to keep. I may want to keep the basic shape in there. I know I got rid of it here, which actually was kind of silly. Oh yeah, the soundtrack from this part of Rayman 1. Oh my god. Oh. So I made it go this far up. Oh, I did it on the wrong layer. Don't mind me. No, I heard you were a very tall midget. Gosh. Hold on a moment. I just know someone who will not be able to... And I like what I've done. I've done it on the wrong layer again, haven't I? For crying out loud! What is going on? I keep doing it. Even though it was like a little bit of shading, but still, I did it on the wrong layer. Again! Ugh! It can be documented how many times I've managed to do that. I'm just... Probably yes, but it's underneath this. Yeah, no, I've got... In total, we've got 7 enemy slash variants. We've got the basic enemy knight, the brute knight with his very tiny arms and brick shithouse upper half. We have... Why is this in the soundtrack? I guess it's just at the point where it's just playing all the other little... What does the Beta Blue Mountains sound like? I'll go back to this song. We're going back to here. Anyway, we've got the baby dragon that looks like a cat from the front. We've got the pear-shaped dragon based on the little Welsh dragon plush, but looks evil and angry. We've got sad version that has a smaller wing, one wing smaller than the other one, and he's very sad because of it. I didn't draw the arms from this perspective, and I feel like I should, because that's, you know, good practice and whatnot. Or the hands at the very least. And I should do it here as well. To be fair, I could just take what I just did here and copy it over to the other one. So copy this, paste this. There we go. Right, so save that, save that, save that again, because for some reason deselecting the lasso just caused it to be considered another change. For whatever reason. It's weird. It behaves weirdly. But I'd say... Yeah, then we have the wizard sniper dude. And then we have the close range wizard that we just finished working on. So I'm going to say, for all intents and purposes, that I now have enough to work with for when we make the models of the enemies. And I'm pretty bloody happy with that. I'm very pleased with myself for that. And this will mean that for the time being, it will just go back to, like, you know, just the game dev side of things, but we'll be making the models in Blender. But I will need to, as I said earlier, look up the tutorial that I used when I was initially modeling my rat character, and also the other tutorial that I used when I was rigging his, rigging the skeleton for him, so I can remember how to do things. And then also, I need to find the tutorial that I was using for weight painting, because, good lord, that's an important thing that needs to be done too. So, the tutorial I was following when I was modeling, so I remember, like, specifically how I start off with the head before moving on to the body, in terms of, you know, getting the low poly effect that I want. And then remembering the thing that I followed for how I rigged it, and then trying to find the guy that I watched when I was trying to understand weight painting. And then once that's all said and done, I will be ready. So, yeah, I'm going to call it there for today. I know it's a bit earlier than I normally would, but I would rather not start the modeling today when it's, you know, 20 minutes or so away from the end of stream. So I'm going to start that probably next Sunday, unless I don't, because I may be busy trying to get stuff done that day after work, but who knows? That depends. But yes, thank you ever so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. As I already said, depending on how things go in, like, in the coming week, I'm either going to be streaming next Sunday, or I will be streaming the Sunday after that, or the Wednesday after. I'm sorry, I'm just confusing things. But yeah, no, possibly next Sunday. If not, then at the very least the Wednesday, not after this Sunday. But I'm I'm not making this easy. I hold on. Let me just say, the 28th. So either next Sunday or I stream on the 28th, and we continue Kingdom Hearts on that day. If I do stream next Sunday, then it's just going to be game dev again. Okay, cool. Anyway, thanks again, and I shall see you all in the very next one. So until then, please take care of yourselves and have a good day or night, depending on where you are.